There's Melissa, she's got her knitting. We're in Estes Park, Colorado. We're here for a wedding and they have a yarn festival going on, so we're gonna go check it out. Never been to one. First yarn festival. Woo-hoo! Hi, I'm back with another video. So in my last video, I was wearing my sweater that I had finished and I was very excited about it. But in this video, starting out with what I'm wearing a t-shirt from my very first yarn festival, which was in Estes Park, Colorado. So it's a 30th annual wool market, Estes Park, Colorado. So I was out in Estes Park for a wedding and there happened to be a yarn festival going on the last full day we were there, and it was awesome. So my friend Kelsey and I and my sister-in-law Melissa and Kelsey's boyfriend Jackson came as well, and so we all went to this yarn festival and it was super cool. This was actually one of the first things I saw when I first walked into the convention center. They had a little booth set up selling merchandise with the Wool Market's logo and stuff, like tote bags and sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff like that. And they had these shirts on sale for just $5. And I don't know if it was the 30th annual wool market, or if this was from last year or many years ago, because they were on sale for $5 and there was only 3 of them left. But anyways, I bought one. So that's what I'm wearing. I have only one finished object to show you. So I'll go through my finished objects, my whips, and then all of the fun purchases that I made at the yarn festival. And I'll also include some footage. I took some video while I was there. There were some really beautiful vendor booth displays that were set up. So I'll show you some videos of that. And then I also have some videos of us with, they had goats and sheep and a little petting zoo with there was one tiny little horse and a brand new little lamb that was like 24 hours old or less than 24 hours old in this kind of petting zoo enclosure where you could go in and actually pet them. And they also had rabbits. We went for a wagon ride. They had these big horses. These people were there giving free wagon rides up and down the main drag. So we did that as well, which was really fun. I haven't been on a hay ride or a wagon ride since I was a little kid, so I was very excited to do that. So anyways, that's what I'm wearing, my t-shirt from the Wool Festival in Estes Park. And my one finished object is this. It's a baby hat. There's a gal at my work who's having a baby. She's having a boy, and we're doing a little baby shower for her in 2 weeks or something. So I just finished this hat this morning. So that's my one and only finished object. I used the new yarn that I got from Wool & Company. This is the, well shit, now I have to go look and find out what it is. This is the Cascade Yarns Cherub Aran Prints. So if you're wondering what it looks like when it's knit up, this is what it looks like. It's kind of got a marled effect to it with the blues and the grays and the whites. It's quite cute. So that's my one and only finished object to share with you. The yarn is very soft. It's made out of a couple different kinds of acrylic. It's nice and soft. So I'm happy with how that turned out. I still have all of this left. My guess is I could probably get at least 3 more baby hats ish, at least 2, maybe 3 baby hats out of this. So that's what it looks like knit up. So I'll give that to her for her little baby shower in a couple of weeks. So that's my one and only finished object. And then my whips, I have the Anchor tee that I'm still working on. I am now on the last section of the ribbing. In my last video, I was like, oh yeah, I have one more section of ribbing to do and then I'll split for sleeves. That is incorrect. I have to finish this section and then do a bunch of raglan increases before splitting for sleeves. So that's not true. So since my last video, I finished 2 more panels of the ribbing. Yeah, making some decent progress on it. And I haven't made as much progress as I think I otherwise would have, because I also started the Herschel bomber since my last video. So I started with the back panel. It doesn't really look all that exciting. This is what I have done so far. So I have the ribbing done, and then obviously started the stockinette stuff. So it seems really wide. I mean, again, it's supposed to be oversized, but it's like really quite wide. So we'll see. I will say, I've really only been working on this like right before I go to bed. I'll knit like 1 or 2 rows before I go to bed. And it's really nice to work with this because the yarn is really big and the needles are really big compared to the Anchor Tee, which is fingering weight yarn and 3mm needles. These are 5.5mm needles, and the yarn is supposedly worsted weight, but when I compare it to like this Cascade yarns, it seems way, way, way bigger than this, almost like an Aran weight. But anyways, I feel like I'm knitting with like a big garden hose and like 2 tree trunks. When I first cast on this project, I actually like triple checked that I had the correct needle size because they felt so fat and so big that, you know, I'm just used to using these tiny little needles, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have the wrong needle size. They're just so big. So I triple checked multiple times, and I'm like, nope, this is the right size. So anyways, that's how far I've gotten on my Herschel bomber. This is the back panel. It's knit from the bottom up, obviously. So I have quite a ways to go yet to knit. And then the pattern says you make like a mark for, I think, like where the shoulders are to be. And then you like somehow make the collar. Haven't gotten that far in the directions, clearly, because it's going to take me a while to get there, because again, I'm only knitting like 2 rows a night if I have the energy to do it. If I'm too tired, I obviously don't. But that's the start of my Herschel bomber. I still have the Sophie shawl as well. I'm not going to show you that because I haven't worked on it since my last video. Again, that one is like not a priority, and I only work on it here and there on very rare occasions, and I haven't made any more progress, so why bother showing you? It looks the same. So those are my whips, and now for all of my like acquisitions, because yes, I did buy some yarn. When I went to the yarn festival, I was like, don't buy any yarn, but I did. The very last vendor that I went to, I bought some yarn from them. It's fine. And I also won some yarn. Maybe I should start with that. So I happened across a very cute little booth. This cute lady created, the name of her shop or whatever is JMYarn&Crafts. So I bought this little project bag from her. This was what caught my eye actually when I was walking past, is I liked this fabric, first of all, and then I kind of liked how it had this like faux leather bottom and like a nice little carrying handle. And I thought it was really cute, and the price was well, right. And so I walked into the booth, and it was this cute lady with her husband, and her daughters were all there, and she makes the bags and some other stuff, and then her daughters also make and sell stitch markers. They were from New Mexico, and she said she also has an Etsy shop, so I'll put the name of her up here, so if you want to check out her stuff, again, it's JMYarn&Crafts. But she was really sweet. Her husband was very cute, and her kids were all very cute as well. So I bought this project bag from her booth along with a couple of stitch markers. So I saw this stitch marker. Why won't this focus? It won't focus. It's a gummy worm. I saw it, had to have it. It's so cute. It's a little gummy worm stitch marker. And then I saw this one and also had to have this one. It's a little mushroom. I really wish this would focus because it's so cute. Can you see this? I don't know where to put it so that you can actually see it. Where's the camera on this piece? Here? Is that better? My camera won't focus, but it's a really cute little mushroom. It's like a seafoam green color with little white spots. It's so cute. I saw it and just was like, I have to have that. So I bought this tiny little mushroom stitch marker from them as well. And then she had this thing where you could like enter into a drawing to win some yarn. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. So she just asked for like your name and your phone number or whatever. And I like, you know, dropped my little piece of paper in her fish bowl. And as I was like really like about to leave, honestly, because we got there at like 11 o'clock, I want to say, and the yarn festival closed at 3 or 4 o'clock. So we were there for like pretty much the entire time. I was actually like kind of on my way out and then trying to find like all my friends. And I happened to be walking past her booth when she called me. Like my phone rang and I saw that it was like a Colorado Springs area code or something like that. And I was like, well, that's weird, but since I'm in Colorado, I suppose I should answer it. So I answered it. And she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. You're standing right in front of me. You're the winner of the yarn giveaway. And like, I turned to the side and she was standing there with like all of her kids and stuff, like with this big smile on her face. I was like, oh my gosh. So I never win when I like enter my name into a drawing. So I was really excited. So this is all the yarn. She had it displayed in this really cute little circular thing, and it was wrapped up in cellophane. It was very cute, but I flew out to Colorado. So in order to fit all this stuff in my carry-on suitcase, I had to disassemble it, unfortunately. So I have it. I use this as like a little project bag I got for my birthday from Kelsey and her mom. I love it. Maybe I should show you it. It's called Shaggy Baggy. I have no idea where they got it from, but I love it. So it's like a little, I don't know what you're exactly supposed to do with it, but I use it for like, I have my Herschel bomber in here, and then I have it like on my bedside table, or I keep it next to me in the living room. And instead of being like an enclosed project bag, like it doesn't leave the house, so I just leave it next to me and then I can just grab it and use it, and I love it. So yeah, Kelsey and her mom gave this to me for my birthday. So I was trying to find a place to corral all of this yarn that I won. But anyway, she had it wrapped up in a really cute little package. And I had to disassemble it and like shove yarn in different places in my suitcase to get all this stuff home. But this is what I won. So this ball doesn't fit in there, so just pretend like that's in there. But this is the yarn that I won. It's like super cute. It's all these bright like pinks and yellows and purples. When I asked her like what kind of yarn it was, she didn't really know. It feels kind of maybe like cotton and maybe like a fingering weight. Maybe, I don't know. And this big cake in the center has like all of these colors. So it's got the pink and the purple and then also the yellow in the center. So I don't know if they like wound these cakes individually and then made this cake with each color. I have no idea. But anyways, I won this yarn. The colors are really fun. They're super bright, like these neon colors. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it, but I was like so excited and so happy. So thank you very much to JMYarn&Crafts, you and your family. Thank you very much. Oh, and this cute little stitch marker came with it too. And again, my camera won't focus, but it's like these cute little dice that match the color scheme of all of this yarn. So this all came together as one. So yeah, thank you ladies for this and the yarn. That was really sweet of you. So yeah, that was one of the things that I bought and one of the stands that I went to. I'll show you some other like smaller things. They also, so besides like yarn stuff, they had felt stuff and felted crafts. And so I bought a couple felted items. The first thing I bought was this adorable little acorn, just a tiny little felted acorn. I have a little spot, oops. I have a little section on my bookshelf where I collect like little tiny things. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect to add to my little collection. So there's my little purple felted. And then I got this. This is a felted pin. It's got a little backing on it. And it's Frida. So I thought that was really, really cute. And I don't remember what stand I bought these from, I'm sorry, but it says sweet peas on this little tag. And I don't remember what the name of the booth was where I bought this from, but I just saw this little felted Frida and I just couldn't help myself. And it says it's handmade in Pueblo, Colorado. So there's my two little felted crafty items that I thought were really cute. Another booth that I visited that actually my sister-in-law Melissa scouted out first I don't know what drew her attention to it. I think it was one of their little animated animals. She recognized them from like a kid's storybook or something like that. I don't know. I didn't recognize and I didn't know what she was talking about. But she was like, Kim, come over here. You gotta check this out. So we met this really interesting guy who is an illustrator, designer, whatever. And I bought some stuff from them. So I bought this, there was a set of little blank cards. I like cards to write notes and stuff like that. And I especially like miscellaneous nondescript cards that you can use for any occasion. So I thought this was really cute. The name of it is Phoebe's Sweater, which I think is a book that maybe they wrote. This guy, his wife, and his kids illustrate, write books, write knitting patterns, etc. And I saw these little cards and I thought it was really cute. Little mousy knitting her little blanket. So I got some of these little blank cards, and then I got this book. It's called Sherlock Knits. So it's patterns inspired by the world's most famous consulting detective. So this is Joanna Johnson, Laurel Johnson, and the guy's name was Eric Johnson. So him and his wife and his kids, like, I don't know, illustrate stuff, write knitting patterns, write kids' storybooks. I don't know. What caught my eye originally at this guy's booth was they had this tea cozy on display. It has, I really wish my camera would focus. I'm using my iPhone. But it has little oranges on it, like a cross section of an orange. And they had this on display and I thought it was like the cutest thing ever. I'm like, what is that? I want that. And come to find out, it's in this book. The pattern and whatnot is in this book. So this is called Mrs. Hudson's Tea Cozy, which I thought was really, really cute. I love tea. In the fall and winter, I drink tea every single day. And I just love tea. And I've always wanted a cute little tea cozy. My mom crocheted me a tea cozy like a long time ago, like probably more than 15 years ago. And I basically just like measured the circumference of my favorite teapot and like how tall it was and like sent her that information to make me a tea cozy. Now, the tea cozy that she made is fine, but it's not, she didn't use like a real tea cozy pattern, so it doesn't like fit super great. But then when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I could knit myself this cute little tea cozy and it will be, you know, hopefully it'll fit well. So I saw that pattern I saw this sample on display, and then Eric, the guy, was like, hey, if you like that pattern, it's in this Sherlock Holmes book. And I was like, what? Sherlock Holmes? Like, I love Sherlock Holmes. Like Benedict Cumberbatch, hello, loved that show. Actually, I would like to rewatch that show. It's so good. So anyways, as I'm like looking through, I saw this pattern as well. It's like a houndstooth vest, which is kind of cool. And then I this is called the Scotland Yard vest. And then there's another pattern. There's several patterns in here, but these are just like kind of the highlights. And then they have a Sherlock Holmes hat. Look at that. It's so fun. I was like, oh, I should make this hat. Like, it's really, really fun. So anyways, I bought this book and these cute little cards from them. Joanna, Laurel, and Eric Johnson. Do they have a website? mountainlaurelartwork.com. I'll put a link to them down below. They're just a really cool family. They also have other books and knitting patterns inspired by other things, like Anne of Green Gables, I remember, and I can't remember other ones, but check their website out. They're a really cool family and really, really interesting to talk to. So that was that from them. And then I got some stitch markers. So for my anchor tee, you need like 10 stitch markers to mark all of these spots for the raglan increases. And I wanted to get stitch markers that are small, since I'm using 3mm needles, and that wouldn't snag on the yarn. I use a lot of these like bulb pins, I think is what they're called. I use those a lot, but they're pins, so they can snag. So I was looking for just like circular stitch markers that would be smooth and not snag on anything. And I happened across, this one was maybe one of my favorite booths in the sense that it was quite funny, and it's called Yank Your Yarn. And the lady had a sign, like a warning sign, at the like entrance of her booth that said something like, it was like a PG-13 booth or something like that, because there was some like inappropriate like slogans and like sexual innuendos and stuff like that, which I very much enjoyed and thought was very funny. But as soon as I saw the warning sign, I was like, well, I'm obviously gonna go in here and see what this is all about and see what kind of like inappropriate stuff this lady has. It was very cute. But her main shtick is she sells stitch markers. So again, it's really too bad that my camera won't focus, but I bought these little teeny stitch markers. They're circles with little beads on them, and they're touted as snag-free stitch markers. So I was like, sweet, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I was super happy to find these. This was one thing that was like specifically on my list to look for at that yarn festival. And then as a thank you gift, she gave me a free stitch marker, which is adorable. And again, I'm so annoyed that my camera won't focus, but do you see there's a little skull at the bottom? It's so cute. And that little green bead, she says, glows in the dark. So anyway, she gave me this free little stitch marker and I love it. It's so cute. And I love that little skull. It's just adorable. So anyways, if you're ever at a yarn festival, look for Yank Your Yarn. You won't regret it. Maybe don't take your kids in there if they're like under the age of like, I don't know, 16. How old are you? Well, I guess it depends on what kind of a parent you are, but like, I don't know how old it is or how old a kid has to be for it to be like appropriate for them to like see sexual innuendo jokes. I don't know, maybe 18. I don't know. I'm not a parent. I'm not in charge. But anyways, Yank Your Yarn. Go see her. She also has a website, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, she has an Etsy shop. Again, I'll leave a link below. YankYourYarn.etsy.com. She was a very funny lady. I liked her a lot. So that was from Yank Your Yarn. And then another booth that I absolutely loved, and I actually went back to 3 times, was Crafty Like a Monkey. Okay, they gave me this little sticker. And I bought a project bag from there. And this is my project bag. I was wanting a medium-sized project bag. I think I mentioned that in my other video. Like, I don't need a big one, I don't need a small one, but I do need a medium one. So I found this and I loved it. And this has my anchor tee in it and it's the perfect size. So this is from them, Crafty Like a Monkey. I also bought this pin that you can't see because it's not focused. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this pin, to be honest. I probably bought it because there's a magpie on it. And I guess I'm a birder now. And then I also got a Longmont yarn shop pin as well. Again, you can't even see it because it's not focusing, but that's that. I love this project bag. It doesn't have a zipper on it, which at first I was like, ooh, I feel like it should have a zipper. It has these snappies. And let me tell you, I love it. No zipper needed. It stays closed just fine, no issues. I love the color. Again, my favorite color is green, and purple, of course, is a contrast color to green, so I'm kind of a sucker for anything green and purple. It kind of has these like tarot card vibes where it says yarn hoarder on it with this like skeleton that's knitting. I liked it. I also really enjoyed the detail of the like stitching on it. Again, you can't see it because my damn camera won't focus, but there's like these little stars in the stitch pattern on it, like here. And I don't know, maybe you can see it here better. There. And I just thought that was so cool. When I was talking with the lady who makes these, I was like, can we talk about this stitch pattern thing? Because that's really cool. And it like adds a really cute little like handmade detail to it. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like this stitch pattern thingy that my sewing machine does. So I just use it. So she uses it on all of her project bags. So I think this was their small size of a project bag. They make us a larger one in all sorts of different prints and fabrics. The close contender to this design was a fabric that had a bunch of Disney villains on it, like Scar from The Lion King, Ursula from The Little Mermaid, Cruella from 101 Dalmatians. It had all of like the Disney villains on it, and I thought that was so much fun and just like so cool and funny. And I almost bought it, but its color scheme was like gray and black and red. But then when I saw this, it's just like, you know, I'm just such a sucker for anything green or purple. But the villains one was a close second. And if I ever need another project bag like this, I would buy that one. So I also got some stickers from them as well. They had a huge collection of stickers. My sister-in-law, Melissa, we picked out a couple more for some friends of ours, for Chloe and Chris, to bring home that made us think of them. And I also bought this pin. It's a dodo bird. I'm into dodo birds. I'm convinced I saw a dodo bird, actually 2 of them, on a bike ride. When I did a 400K bike ride, which is 250 miles, it was something like that. And I swear to God, I saw 2 dodo birds running across the field. No one believes me, but they had this, and this was also another pattern, fabric pattern that I bought in a project bag. They had this dodo bird and a bunch of other stuff. I don't even know what it was actually in the background of this fabric. And I saw the dodo bird and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get that one. But then I saw the Disney villains one, and then I saw the one that I actually ended up buying. But then they sold a bunch of pins, and so I got the dodo bird pin. Yeah, I'm into dodo birds. I have a dodo bird hat. I saw a dodo bird at the Natural History Museum in London. I'm into dodo birds, so I had to get the pin. I'll probably put this on my project bag so I don't lose it. And then they had a whole bunch of different kinds of stitch markers, like hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of stitch markers. And like, I don't, of course, need any more stitch markers, but again, I'm a sucker for Harry Potter. So they had this one. Again, you can't see it, but it says Harry Potter on it. It's a little book. It's super cute. And it was also really cheap. I want to say it was like $2 or something like that. So I was like, well, duh, I need that. So lots of stitch markers acquired on this particular trip. And then as I was kind of finishing up at the yarn shop, I went to a booth at like the front of the yarn festival to look at something, and then I was walking back towards where my friends were, and I happened across, I apparently just didn't go down that whole aisle because I came across the Longmont booth, Longmont Yarn Shop. And here they are, Longmont Yarn Shop. And I don't know if they were like the principal sponsor or something, but they were like, their logo and their name was like all over the festival. So I stopped in, they had a really beautiful booth. I stopped in, looked at some stuff, and this is where I ended up buying yarn. Even though I like went in and was like not allowed to buy yarn, I met the lady who dyed the yarn and we talked about it. And then I saw all these samples that she had made with the yarn. And I was like, okay, I need to buy some of your yarn. So I did. So I bought 2 skeins of yarn. Here they are. The yarn is bamboo, which is what intrigued me about it. So I got to meet the lady who dyed the yarn. The name of the yarn is Theodora's Pearls, hand dyed in Longmont, Colorado. So there it is. Again, I'll leave a link below. So if you're interested in this yarn, you can check it out. So it's bamboo. It's fingering weight. For 115 grams, you get about 400 yards. It's hand dyed. And this color is called Pine, and this color is called Rust. So she had a whole bunch of samples. I forgot what the lady's name was. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but she was really sweet, really nice, very like easy to talk to, and showed me a bunch of samples of like shawls and stuff that were made with this yarn. And I was just, it feels really cool, like literally cool and also figuratively cool. And I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. And I liked these colors together, this like kind of dark pine green with this kind of burnt orange rust color. I thought they would look kind of cool together. And because I bought yarn from them, I got a free pattern. So you get a free download code on Ravelry for the Tali shawl by Alina Apasova. I'll stick a picture of it up here. But I got a free download pattern. It's a little tiny, it's a very small little shawl, like a lace pattern shawl that I think you could probably make with just one skein. I don't know that I will make that shawl with this yarn, but that's kind of the idea is I'm planning to make like a summer weight shawl with this yarn. I just need to find a pattern where it would look good to alternate like these two colors. But I had a really fun time learning about her dyeing process and learning about the yarn in general. And then as I was chatting up the ladies in the booth, like the owners of the shop, they were like, "Where are you from?" Because they noticed I have a Midwest accent. And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Milwaukee." And they're like, "Oh, do you know the yarn shop Cream City?" And I was like, yeah, that's my local yarn shop." And they're like, "Oh, we know Nicole and Lisa at Cream City. Like, they do the fireside. They're like part of our group for the Fiberside chats." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were like kind of like in charge of organizing that." I said in every email like newsletter that they send out, they mentioned the Fiberside chats, and I didn't realize that was like affiliated with you guys. So we had a nice little chat about my local yarn shop, Cream City, which is located in Brookfield, which is a suburb of Milwaukee. And yeah, we were talking about all the lovely ladies there and all of the like gorgeous yarn that they sell and how friendly and nice everybody is. In fact, I just went there like last week or the week before. I made a mistake doing my anchor tee. I don't know what I did. I think I dropped a stitch. I screwed a couple, 2-3 things up, and I like couldn't figure out how to undo what I did and fix things because of the 1x1 rib. I just couldn't. I think I dropped a purl stitch and I didn't know how to like fix it. So I went into the yarn shop, and I can't remember her name now, of course. Maybe it was Linda. I can't remember her name, but thank you so much. She was so sweet. I came in and just like was like, "Help me. Like, I don't want to have to frog this whole thing because I don't know how to fix this." And she was like, no problem, like, don't panic. Like, we'll figure it out." So she spent like a solid 15 minutes with me figuring out like my mistake. I had dropped a stitch, I had twisted a couple things and whatever. And then she showed me a faster and easier way to undo my stitches because I ended up having to rip back like 2 full rounds. And the way it's called tinking, and the way that I used to tink, it was like not good at all, but it was like kind of the only way that I knew how to do it. And she showed me a different way, and it was so much easier. And it also didn't matter if it was a knit stitch or a purl stitch, the way that you tinked it. Whereas the way that I did it before, it mattered if it was a purl stitch or a knit stitch because of how I would do it. So she showed me a way where it didn't matter. God bless her. And so now that's how I tink my work, because of course I've had to tink other stuff. So much easier, so much faster. She knit continental style. I do English style and I throw my yarn. I would like to eventually learn how to do continental someday so I can be a faster knitter. But she showed me you essentially put the yarn on I'm right-handed, so it would be on my left index finger, and you like pull it up to pull the stitch up and off of the needle. So then you can see where to like pick it up and then undo the stitches. So I was like really not ambidextrous with doing it. So I mean, she was kind enough to do like maybe 20 stitches for me, and then watch, like she supervised me for another 20, which took probably 20 minutes. And then I actually sat at the back table there and I undid both of those rows because I wanted to do it there in case I screwed something up, then she could help me with it. But I think I had like 285 stitches or something, so it took me a while to undo all of it, but God bless her, she helped me. So local yarn shop, shout out Cream City Yarn. I'll put a link in the description below as well. It's a great cute little place. They also have classes there too. So yeah, Longmont Yarn Shop. I also got this tape measure because it was like, I don't know, if you bought a skein of yarn or something, you could get this for like $1 or something like that. So I got it for $1 because it was cute. So yeah, that's what I got at the Longmont Yarn Shop. And thank you also Longmont for the free download pattern on Ravelry and for being so friendly and nice and kind and etc, etc. It was also really cute when I was in their booth. There was other vendors that were coming by to say hi that are like locals. And they were like, "Hey, how's it going?" And like, they're all working on their little projects, and it was very cute. So anyways, first Yarns Festival, huge success, had a great time, bought a lot of stuff, and I think I'm set now for yarn and stitch markers and whatnots for probably forever. But had a really great time and also really enjoyed like seeing all the animals. And I also learned that cashmere comes from goats. I didn't know that. There was a cashmere goat that was there, and it's their hair like on their neck. There's like a specific spot, I think, because I like walked into the explanation like halfway through it, so I didn't hear all of the details, but the guy was explaining like, yeah, like this part of their neck hair is like this thing, and then this section is cashmere. So like it's their neck hair or something like that that they grow that's cashmere. I didn't know that, so I learned. So anyways, that was my first yarn festival experience, and now of course I want to go to all of the yarn festivals. There's a couple like big ones here in the US, like on I think the East Coast and the West Coast, and like the Northwest there's one in, I don't know, probably Portland, you know, one of those kind of cool hipster towns. I would love to go, but I'm not going to. But so then like now I'm hooked and I want to go to all these yarn festivals. So I was looking to see if there's any near me, like in like the Wisconsin, Chicago type area. And there is one, I think it's in Madison maybe, in September. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to go because I have a bike event that weekend. And I don't know if I'm going to have to work or not because our schedule isn't out quite that far yet. But I know for sure I have a bike event that weekend. So I would not be able to go on the weekend. But if I'm off on that Friday, because it starts on a Friday, it goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If I'm off on Friday, I'm 100% gonna go. And I think it's the first, I wanna say it's either the first or second weekend in September. Maybe it's the second weekend in September because it's not Labor Day. So it must be the second weekend in September. It's in Madison. And if I'm off on that Friday, I'm totally gonna go. And the bike event that I have that weekend is Door County Century. So I'll be up in Door County with my friend Liz, and we did that ride last year and we absolutely loved it. So we're going back again this year. If you've never done it before, I would recommend to a friend. It's one of the best like century rides I've ever done. It's a beautiful course. It's super well supported. Every rest stop has a theme. So they have like fun things to eat at every stop. And the best one, in my opinion, was the strawberry shortcake. That was the one I was looking forward to the most. And it didn't disappoint. It was really fun, really tasty. And you know, they have like the volunteers that put out the food and stuff. And there was a guy who had like the cans of Ready Whip that was like putting the whipped cream on the shortcakes. And when I grabbed mine, I was like, ooh, this looks so yummy. And he was like, do you want some more whipped cream? And I was like, obviously. So he like piled it up with whipped cream, and then we actually went back for seconds because we enjoyed it so much. So, and last year's ride, it rained the entire day, the entire ride, but we made it through. We were soaking wet the entire day, and it was a little bit cold as well, but we had a great time, and we're going back again this year. So if you're interested, check out Door County Century's website. I think that they do have a cap, like a limit on how many people can register, and I'm almost positive they sell out every year. I think it's the most popular ride in Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. They have like, I'm pulling this number out of thin air, but I want to say they have like more than 3,000 riders at the event, maybe more than that. And you don't have to do the full century. They have all sorts of different mileage lengths that you can do. I think there's a 30 mile and there's like a 75 mile. So if you don't want to do the full hundo, you don't have to. The courses also like start and end in the same spot. So like you can diverge off to different courses too, like during the ride if you don't feel like doing whatever distance you signed up for. Like if you signed up for the hundo and only wanted to do 75, I'm almost positive it's not a big deal to peel off and do fewer miles if you want to. So yeah, anyways, that's the next yarn festival that's on my radar. It's not till September, but I'm hoping to have off on that Friday so that I can go and check it out because it's in my home state and Madison is about an hour drive from where I live. So it would just be fun to go. And then I have some friends who live in Madison too who also knit. So I'm assuming they would want to go too, which would be super fun to go to with them as well. So anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.
Tell your mom.